It's not like Children's Village. I mean, correct. It's
And-
more like a cottage-like, campus-like setting, more of a home-like setting.
Just so that the record is straight, Children's Village is the entire facility, is it not?
Check the lack of foundation.
I mean,
Unless you know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
You said that Mandy's Place is, quote, home-like?
Yes, I feel
And where
it
did you
is.
get the terminology, if anywhere, for home-like?
My own experience. Cottage, home-like, yeah.
Cottage-like.
I believe you said home-like. Did you ever see a brochure for Mandy's Place?
No.
Did you ever visit Mandy's Place?
Oh, I've been there many times, yes.
And that is a non-secure area, correct? Non-secure to the extent that there are no locks on the doors, correct?
As far as I'm familiar with, I mean, there's no locks on the doors inside the facility that I'm aware of, correct? Inside of Mandy's Place. I mean, there's
Every
a,
spring, there is a, I guess for a lack of better words, some kind of a fair at Children's Village?
I believe there's like, from what I understand, there's like an open house or something.
Open house?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you ever attend one of those open houses?
No, I have not.
But you do know that they have one, correct?
I believe that they do, yeah.
Who is it open to?
I believe it's opener
Lack
to,
of foundation, Your Honor. Sustained.
Do you know who it is open to?
no.
Let me show you Examiner's Proposed Exhibit 131. That is your affidavit, isn't it? Your statement, I'm sorry?
That is my statement.
That
Is
is your
this the same
statement.
statement we were looking at before?
It's 131. It's provided to
All right, hang on,
opposing
before I
counsel.
make a comment, I need to pull out your 131. Too much trouble to tell me anything. Your Honor, I see it's the original statement of Michael Dean. Thank you very much. I apologize for delaying the proceedings.
Can you look at the last paragraph?
Yes.
Can you read it to yourself?
Yes.
And when you gave that statement, is that accurate? Was that accurate?
No. When I gave it,
Yes.
you typed it.
And were you sitting next to me?
You know, that whole day, I learned a lesson there, and I apologize to, I learned a lesson.
Okay. But in this statement, did you sign it, by the way?
I did, and you were supposed to mail me a copy because I was running out. I had just finished a trial before Judge Young, running late. You told me I still had to come. I get down there at 12:05, told you I had to be back up in Oakland County by 2, and it's at like 1:25. I'm ready to walk out the door. You said, let me type this statement, and then you go through it. I sign it. I'm trying to beat out the door. I asked you for a copy. You said you're going to mail me a copy, which you never did.
So looking at the last paragraph, Mr. Dean,
Yes.
did you state in that statement that you know that there is a spring
Your
fair?
Honor, this is irrelevant. The man has just said that it's not his.
I agree, sustained. I'm not too concerned about the open houses.
Have you ever attended one of those open houses?
No.
Your Honor, again, this is irrelevant.
Well, I've also been asked and answered.
The J building, Mr. Dean, is reserved for what kind of offenders?
Your Honor, lack of foundation.
He testified to that to counsel.
I think I said inmates and he said detainees. I don't think he talked about what kind of
But
offenders.
you asked, go ahead. Please.
Juvenile detainees.
And juvenile detainees are what kind of kids qualify to be considered juvenile detainees?
Subject to relevance, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Is the J building you said was secure, correct?
Yes.
That's for kids who broke the law, isn't it correct?
Object, Your Honor, lack of foundation.
Yeah, it's argumentative. Let's move on. Let's keep it to the proceeding which is before the master. Go ahead. Anything further?
Nothing.
Anything else?
I'm satisfied, Your
Thank
Honor.
you. Mr. Dean, you may step down. Next witness.
Thank you.
Can't do much about that.
Never mind.
Mr. Schwarz.
Judge, how are you?
Good. Raise your right hand. Long time no see. You have no truth, live your true self again.
I do.
Have a seat. Jeff, we're going to go straight to 12:30, then we'll take a break.
Whatever you need to do, Judge.
Proceed. Counsel, anytime now, unless you need a special invitation.
Sir, your name is Jeff Schwarz,
That's correct.
and you are an attorney, correct?
I am.
You have been an attorney for many years.
That's correct.
On June 24, 2015, you were called to Judge Gorcyca's court, were you not?
I was.
And who called you there?
I got called by Nicole Rude because I was on the, they sometimes call it the emergency list or the spot assignment list, and I was called to see if I was available to go to Judge Gorcyca's courtroom for a show cause hearing.
When you say show cause hearing, let me rephrase it. Who were you supposed to see?
Well, when you're on that list, you're saying that you're available to be called for any number of type cases, either a neglect case where you're representing a parent or a child, or a delinquency case where you're representing a child in a delinquency case, and there's also a separate list for PPO and show cause hearings. So sometimes you're called in a case where someone has allegedly violated a PPO and might be held in contempt, or there might be just a show cause contempt hearing in a judge's courtroom, which I wasn't really sure what I was walking into until I got to the judge's courtroom.
Okay. And when you get to the judge's court, do you have any contact with anyone before you see your client?
Yes, I went back into the back hallway where the judge's chambers and the jury room is, and Bill Lancet, who was the GAL in the case, the judge was standing there, and Bill Lancet motioned me over and indicated that he would get me up to speed as to what the situation was, and I had a short discussion with Mr. Lancet before I went and spoke with my client.
And let's refer to your client by the initials LT. He was 13 at the time, correct?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay. So when you see LT, are you out in the hallway? Are you in the room? Are you in the jury room?
I was told to go into the jury room when I met with my client.
And when you met with your client, was anyone present? Anyone other than you and your client?
Myself, and there was a deputy who is out in the hallway now that I recognized, I don't know by name, that was in the corner of the jury room, but he was way in the corners and apparently was trying not to interfere with our discussion.
Was he present during your entire stay with the LT?
Yes.
Before meeting with LT, did you see any pleadings, orders, motions, anything?
No, I just spoke briefly with Mr. Lancet, who told me what the situation was, and then I advised my client of what the situation was and what his rights were, and then we were headed back into the courtroom to report to the court.
And prior to the contempt hearing, did you talk to the father's attorney or mother's attorney?
No.
Did you in any way get a history of the case?
Yeah, Mr. Lancet.
Other than through Mr. Lancet?
No,
Okay.
no, not at that time, no.
Other than seeing Judge Gorcyca standing in the hallway, did you have any conversation with her?
No.
How long did you speak with LT before you reported back to the court?
I would estimate between 10 and 15 minutes, but I'm not really sure. It's been quite a while.
You obviously were present in the courtroom when your client was found in contempt, correct?
I was.
Did you follow the child after he was handcuffed and removed from the courtroom?
No, I did not. That, as I recall, it was very close to the lunch hour, and I had another case that I had to get to shortly thereafter. I had a brief discussion with him just before he was taken out of the courtroom, but I had a long discussion with him ahead of time describing what the process could happen depending on what the ruling of the court was.
Between June 24th and July 10th of 2015, did you file any motions for reconsiderations, anything along those lines?
I did not file anything because the only thing I was going to file because the only thing that I thought that I wanted to do was to preserve the appellate rights, and so I had planned on filing a document to preserve that, but before that happened, the attorney who was representing the mother from Hertz and Schramm, whose name escapes me right now, if I heard it I would recognize it, filed a motion for reconsideration.
You appeared at another hearing on July 10th, did you not?
If that's the date that it happened, I don't recall off the top of my head, but I take your
That's when
word.
the media was present in the
I
courtroom?
take your word for the date. I just don't remember it off the top of my head.
And who notified you of that hearing?
Well, I don't think I saw him in the village prior to that hearing. I only was reported back by Mr. Dean that he had saw his client, and I'm not 100% sure if he said he saw mine or not, but reported back that he felt that they were doing okay.
But you have no memory of seeing yours?
I don't recall doing that.
Let me show you proposed exhibit 144.
Sure.
Can you take a look at the top line, please, review that for
Sure.
yourself?
July 9th? Is that what you're...
Fresh recollection, Joe?
See what I'm looking at. What is it that I'm looking at? A visitor list?
It's a visitor's...
You know,
I'm not sure what I'm looking at.
Do you see your name?
I do.
Do you see a date?
Yes.
Does that refresh your recollection whether you had visited this child on that date?
To be honest, I really don't
Okay.
recall seeing him. I might have. If this says I did, I probably did. But my recollection was that I had planned to and didn't get a chance to before the hearing. I might have seen him just after, but I don't remember seeing him before. But if that
Did
says
you
I
make-
did, I might have.
Did you make any attempt to contact Children's Village to speak with your client on the phone between June 25th and July 9th?
Your Honor, again, we're not putting Mr. Schwarz on trial here. This is all after the hearing. What's the relevance of whether he contacted Children's Village or not to talk to his client?
sustained.
Did you get any calls from Children's Village about your client between June 24th and July 9th?
Your Honor, also irrelevant.
And sustained.
Did you see your client on July 10th in the in the courthouse, either before or right after the hearing that was held?
Yes,
When did you see him?
just prior.
Between June 24th and July 10th, did you have any conversations with Judge Gorcyca about the case and about your client or the siblings?
No. No, there were no hearings before, and that would have been ex parte communication, so I didn't have any discussions with the judge about it at all.
Nothing further.
You can begin the cross, Chris.
I'm sorry?
You can begin your cross. We're going to break it
I may be able to even finish it, Your Honor. Mr. Schwarz, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Tell me, what does your practice focus on?
I've been practicing for 36 years. I was a Wayne County prosecutor from September of '80 to January of '86. After that, I went into the sole practice, and I specialize in criminal defense, juvenile law, and I have a little bit of a general practice, but mostly criminal defense and juvenile law.
What percentage of your work is in juvenile law?
I'd say somewhere between 30 and 40.
And how many years do you think you've been practicing juvenile law?
Oh, 36, because when I was a prosecutor, back then, in Wayne County, the prosecutor's office handled juvenile cases while I was there. Then the Attorney General took over, whereas in Oakland County, it's the prosecutor's office. But
I don't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, that's
really.
fine.
I'm trying to get you out of here so you don't have to come back out once.
that's fine. I'm happy to do whatever they need me to do. That's
All right. When you were appointed, when you were contacted by Nicole Rude, you understood that you were being called for a contempt hearing?
That's correct.
Did you understand that it was involving a parenting time issue or a divorce case?
Not when I was first called. I did get notified that I would be representing a child, and which I thought was odd, but I did not know any of the circumstances until I got to the court.
You understood it was a civil contempt hearing?
Correct.
And are you aware of the difference between civil contempt and criminal contempt?
I am.
Okay, civil contempt tends to encourage future participation in orders, correct?
Yes.
So was it your understanding that the court was trying to get your client, LT, to participate in parenting time moving forward?
Objection, speculative.
Sustained.
You agree when you went on the record that your client refused to participate in parenting time, correct?
That's correct.
He said specifically, I am not going to talk to him, correct?
When he was in court, yes.
When he was in court?
Yes.
Was that in the direct view and presence of the court by your understanding?
Yes.
Okay, so that was a direct civil contempt, correct?
Correct.
Did your client at any time during that hearing agree to participate in parenting time with his father?
No.
Did he change his mind at any time during that hearing or while he was standing with his hands cuffed to participate in parenting time with his father?
No.
Did he ever indicate to you in your entire interaction with him, barring privilege, that indicated to you that he was going to participate in parenting time with his father?
Well, I can only speak about, I can't talk to you about the discussion I had with him prior, but
Of course.
while we were in court.
Did you object to the court's finding on that day?
No, I didn't.
Did any of the other lawyers object to the court's finding on that day?
No.
What did you think of Judge Gorcyca's behavior on the bench that day, her demeanor?
Objections to relevancy.
Sustained.
Did you believe that Judge Gorcyca was over the top in her behavior on the bench?
Objection, relevancy.
Overruled. You can testify as what he perceived.
Okay, once again?
Did you perceive Judge Gorcyca as being over the top or particularly unusual in how she conducted the hearing?
She seemed frustrated. That's how I would characterize it.
Did she seem to be attacking people?
No.
She seemed frustrated.
Yes.
Could you understand why she was frustrated if a 13-year-old boy was standing in front of her and saying, I am not going to talk to my dad?
Objection.
Sustained.
Are you familiar with Children's Village?
I am.
Have you visited Children's Village?
Many times.
And you're aware of the different living arrangements at Children's Village?
I am.
You saw how Judge Gorcyca described Children's Village on the record?
I did.
She said that it was a cell with an uncomfortable bed and open area for going to the bathroom, correct?
Correct.
Are you familiar with the J building?
I am familiar with the J building.
Is the J building is secured detention, correct?
Correct.
Is that what people think about, what you think about when somebody says, my kid's over at Children's Village?
Objections to
Or my
relevancy.
client's at Children's Village?
Sustained.
The living arrangements at Children's Village, J building, can you describe the inside of one of their rooms?
Well, there's a common pod, and then there's the places where the children sleep.
Okay, do you know where the children sleep?
Usually I see them in the common pod, to be honest with you.
So you're not familiar about what's in the room or what the secure cell looks like?
It's been a long time since I've had to, go on a regular tour of that place, so,
Okay.
yeah.
When you...
Because we see them either in a room other than where we're at or in a common area.
Were you at all surprised that your client was handcuffed when he was taken into custody?
Well, I've seen children handcuffed when they're brought to the village all the time. I mean, it's not unusual.
Okay. And when you left that hearing, did you think to yourself, boy, I've just got to report this to the Judicial Tenure Commission?
No.
No. Okay. Thanks very much for your time.
Have you ever seen a child in a divorce case handcuffed and taken over to Children's Village?
Well, the truth is that's the first time that I've been to a divorce case where there was a contempt hearing, so.
Nothing for them.
Thank you. Mr. Schwarz, you are released.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right. You have to discuss your testimony with the witnesses. Take a 1 hour recess and we'll start promptly at 1:30.
All right.